that I'll be able to actually like show full reveals on what they'll actually look like. I could get the rarity chart together for you guys though, just so everybody can see what those rarity traits are. That part's all finished and done and contract written, so you could at least start to decipher like what would be the rare sets. And not every trait, of course, will be included on every NFT. So if you guys like had already kind of seen the NFT art that we've already shared, like the little like background effects and the like lightning effects that go around some of the guys, those aren't on all of them. Those are only on certain ones. Now, that numerically will make it rarer. That being said, that's not necessarily like an automatic value added. So, for instance, me myself personally, I actually just personally do not like those effects. My team does, the artist does, and the NFT team all likes those effects, and they all agree on including them. I personally, if I get one with those effects on it, I'll more than likely shuffle that one to the side and purchase another one because I don't want that effect included in mine. So technically, numerically, that one is rarer. That again does not necessarily mean that like that's the high value one. You also will receive rarities dependent on like set completion. So if you're able to get a matching set like head and torso, I'm assuming that in itself would have like increased value. I would pay more money for a matching set depending on which one it was. Anyways, and that's something that like I know a few of you in here at least, especially like what do I call you? Because I want to call whoops. I want to call you crypto miner, but then I want to call you WRX because that's what's like actually on your name everywhere that you go. That's the common like denominator. But anyways, I know you collect a lot of NFTs, and I think Nature you've started collecting a whole lot of them. So I think it just depends on like the individual. what they
I collected over, I think I'm close to 200 in a month.
Oh God, you have 200 NFTs?
I think the value is close to $5,000.
Nice. Can I ask what you had to pay for that?
Well, I'm saying I did that. No, I'm saying I think it's sitting. What I spent was close to $5,000.
Ooh, okay. So
that's fair, bro. Because I only own 14, and I pretty much spend like $5,000, maybe 5.5.
Well, because look, I'm not going to buy ETH. I'm just not going to do it. So by Phantom being so new and small especially within the NFT, I mean, I took a loss on some because I bought when Phantom was higher too. But some of the ones that I got into, I have literally some are 30x. I had one 15x in 6 days, but the ones I own are actually planning to do here or other things. So I have some that I have 38 of one, which is basically a game token, which is a pre-IDO token. Then I have the Phantom Squad ones, which were earning a DMD pool at like I was making $20 a day. Now they earn DFI. So I mean, it was more about using the NFTs to stake because everybody was going into nodes. So I went into staking NFTs instead.
So I was gonna have this talk with like Tamchi at some point later on, like this evening or tomorrow. But since you're here right now, I'm gonna ask you about it. Two questions just to give me like a quick rundown, because of course, even though it looks like I'm everywhere in the space, I'm not actually everywhere. Phantom, that is a EVM blockchain, Solidity based, correct?
Sorry, I just got into the car, so it just switched.
It's a Phantom is an ERC.
Okay,
720.
yes. Okay. And but it functions all within its own ecosystem, correct? All within like
Yeah.
its actual, but
So
it's on its own smart chain, correct?
the gas is Phantom. So it works the same. It does get congestion. It does slow down, but even still, like the highest gas I've paid is $3.
Okay.
But it follows the same thing as BSC. It follows the same thing as even though BSC happens to be BEP, but it's an ERC 721 NFT. It's an ERC 20 actual contract. So it pretty much mimics ETH.
Well, and like the same thing is for BSC. If you have a BSC token, it's that ERC 720 like NFT contract, 720, 721. And then you have like it's still an ERC token itself. Even the contract's written like ERC. Just because it's operating on that network, the network name itself is different for your end. But even your address is like your BEP20 address is actually an ERC address as well. The same way,
Right.
like technically,
Step
it's
two.
also,
Step two is where you go funky. But
yeah,
so it's like they all pretty much work except I forgot which one. Except for like Kronos, I believe. Like everything, no, Kronos is ERC as well. It just they switched theirs. There's one token out there I forget who pretty much does it different, and you can't bridge. You can't. I forgot who it is. So, but yeah, it does exist. But even Avalanche, Polygon, all those, they pretty much follow the same exact thing.
yeah, they're all EVMs. It's the type of blockchain that they operate under. I was just interested just because. Oh, so okay. Sorry, there's another project that I know that's about to launch that's working with Tamshi. So I'm assuming they're probably going to launch there on that blockchain.
Well, it's very possible, but he mentioned something about there was something. He's working on like 6 projects, I believe, right now. So
Yeah.
I think he mentioned the BSC project.
Okay.
So,
Interesting. Yeah.
there
Anyway,
might be
sorry.
one of
Back
those.
to back to basics. So to stay on the NFT topic, though, earlier this evening, I was not on top of my social media game itself. I really should have sent out an invite into the Discord to try to invite everybody over there. But I did co-host a AMA earlier with Ever Reflect on Twitter Space, talking about some of our partnership stuff and their general technology behind their NFT tickets. And I was not aware actually that he was going to like go ahead and announce that we'll be handling like the back end tech for him and Ever Reflect. But we will be doing that. As soon as I have more information about like revenue splits and stuff like that, the business end of it, I will share that with you guys, my community. I always try to stay as transparent as possible. You guys know that if we're doing something, it's going to, in some way, shape, or form, benefit our ecosystem. But with that, he did also announce, and I did talk about it with you guys the other night about like a little beta test that we will be implementing and doing, and it's built just around particularly the NFT tickets and how to give a quick demonstration of like a real world application for those. And he's already got partnerships lined up in his area, his where he actually lives in around Michigan. And then as well, I'm going to be partnering. One second, guys. And as well, I'm going to be partnering with some uh, amusement parks here in my local area around Kentucky, and we're going to be giving away season passes that are actually NFT tickets. So you'll be able to attend the park and actually scan your ticket right off your phone the same way you would your digital ticket Now, if you had a season pass for that amusement park, it'll function the exact same way that it does now. But the onboarding and the use of it will all be on the blockchain. As well, on the back end of that, to show the bridge from where it's a EverReflect product and where MBC is introduced. If you're holding that ticket from that season pass event, you'll be granted access to a special lounge within our lobby. Anybody else who does not have one of those tickets will not be granted free access to that lounge. If they want to get a pass into there, they will actually have to spend some MBC. It won't be a lot, but it'll be a nominal fee just to show the exclusivity of that space and the experience that they receive. As well, to push that a little bit further, he also announced where, because of their real world industry connections, what they actually do as a business there, as promoting and event planning, they work hand in hand with a lot of musical artists, and they will be partnering with not huge artists, but regional artists that do have decent sized followings, and giving them access to exclusive NFT ticket rights to their events. As well, EJ will cover the cost for the hardware required to be able to do the exclusive VR streaming for us. So, where we've talked before about giving concerts and giving experiences to live events going on, that's existing technology that you can just like pay for the rights for viewing. So that's how NBC plans to implement that on like a large scale. So for major artist and concert experiences, you can already just subscribe for that licensing and then put on that event within your own virtual space. But this is going to be something that's a little bit different. This is going to be like exclusive access. So something that you can only get directly from EverReflect or NBC. This might be, again, not the largest events starting out. It might be smaller events, regional artists, regional experiences. And I keep saying that, but I do mean just because it might not necessarily mean like your typical music show. It might be, who knows? I don't know what people get into these days, like an open mic night for comedy, maybe a poetry slam or something like that. But this is access that he already has, people that he's already working with, and venues that he already trusts, where he's going to be able to send the equipment. Because this is real hardware that we have to implement to make this experience happen and make it come to life. But because of my technical know-how combined with his business partnerships and experiences that he already has there, we're going to be able to facilitate this a lot faster. And again, primarily a lot of this will be just to provide the real proof of concept for the larger partnerships that we're both hopeful to obtain as we move forward. You know, it's great being able to put on regional concerts in a virtual world and be able to go to amusement parks and stuff like that. But we both have our eyes on the entire experience. I want to be able to be the crypto space provider for your virtual viewing, if that makes sense. And the events, he wants to provide the tickets for and get the access to. I think it's a great combination, a great plan to get working together in tandem. We'll be able to facilitate these goals for both projects a lot faster. As well, they need help with the technical know-how, and I always need new holders, and added revenue. And that's what we can provide together working with each other. So I'm excited about it. Again, I apologize for not sharing that Twitter space at the time. I was just, I was actually like driving around and doing a bunch of other stuff all at the same time. So again, if it happens next time, I'll make sure it is shared out with everybody.
It was recorded.
Oh, it was? I'm sorry. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because I caught it right after, so I listened to part of it already. Yeah, it's recorded on which is rare. I didn't know that you can do that on Twitter Space, but because I had a reminder up, it showed me play recording. It said.
So yeah, I actually need to talk to Henry. And again, I told everybody earlier, like he's just been really busy the last 2 weeks with his day job, and they actually had him working like 80 hours each week the last 2 weeks. So he's finally off that now, and I think today was like his first. He worked all night last night, so he's probably asleep right now, but he'll be like off tomorrow. He's actually the guy that runs the Twitter for NBC. I don't. I have access to it, of course, but I don't ever go on to the NBC Twitter. I'm now curious on why we don't have spaces and why we haven't done that yet, or why that isn't finished yet. I don't know what that is. So I'll be talking to
I brought
him.
that up to you about doing Twitter because of the fireside chats, but since you took care of that with the virtual chats, that's not so important. But yeah, Twitter Space and that stuff with the videos and stuff, I believe is better for larger numbers.
Yeah, that seems to be like the consensus that everybody goes on about for every space that I'm in. Is like you really need to be on spaces because that's how you get to like the new people and get larger crowds there. So I see that. I could definitely see that. And I'm as time goes on, I'm becoming more of a fan of Twitter. I hated it at first, but now like I just stay off of it, and then I only go on to make like a good like post, and then the only other reason I go on is to join a space. Other than that, I just stay off of it. I don't read anything from anybody else. I just literally just quickly make a really good post, hop back off, and then hop back on to like join a space, and that's it. And that's how I've managed it, and it's okay that way. Anyways, is there any other questions from anybody, or any questions at all? I should probably check the chat channel too, real quick. Hey, you know what? And I am going to take a moment to just clarify with everybody now as the days do move forward in case this comes up publicly at all. I think everybody here knows, and I've been very open since before this has started, that I obviously have involvement with other projects, other crypto entities. I always have, and I probably always will, including when MBC is a $1 billion market cap. I'll probably continue to always have some type of involvement within other projects, so on and so forth. If you hear about another project here in the near future, and you see my name or affiliation attached to it whatsoever, one or more than one, just everybody always remember, MBC is mine. I will never claim any other project as being my project. This is my project. This is what I feel passionately about. And you'll never hear me talk passionately about any other project other than in a DeFi innovation manner. If I see something that I like and it's a true change within the space that's refreshing, you might hear me, get a little sparkle to my voice over that. But short of that, MBC is what I do and what I love to do. I've never sold a token, and I never will. I don't do MBC for the money, and I never will. I have smaller, even when I get my tokens back out of my locker, I'll have much smaller bags than most of, or not most, but a lot of the whales. And that's just facts, guys. These are just cold, solid, hard facts. So I'm going over this just because this is the first project that I have founded and have full association with. That is mine. And since then, publicly being doxxed like that, I have had a smorgasbord of projects asking me to dox like with them. And operating for so long, anon, I never had that issue before. And now I do have that issue. So just please, everybody, remember that moving forward. Anything that I do personally in my life as a developer is always to somehow benefit and facilitate my personal project, which is MetaBUSD coin. All right, I'm going to take a moment to look over the chat to see if I have any questions from anyone. If I can figure this out, I always get lost. Here we go. Awesome. I don't see any new questions. All right, so let's touch base on this form real quick. So, I released the first form and I had skipped a question. I apologize. I released a second form and I gathered 11 responses from people, and I have those responses. I can review those responses and keep them. So I don't technically need anybody who has for sure submitted a form to fill out another one. That being said, I don't want anybody to be confused on whether or not they did or did not. So, obviously, I set something up wrong on the form submission side. Maybe I get timed out after a short period. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna re-go through that process, double check everything, and figure out what's going on. Because right now, if you click on my form link, it takes you there and says it's no longer accepting any more submissions. Again, from my side, because I'm the creator of that form, I see something different. I just see everybody submitted forms and an option to edit my form. So, anyways, long story short, I'm going to put out a new form either later on this evening or in the morning as soon as I figure this out and make sure I've got it right, and probably just have everybody resubmit one more time so I have it all in one location, because then I can export it as a CSV file. That way I can quickly, use Control F to find it against my current list of free cell wallets and then start to build my table from there. Okay, so I apologize about that confusion. Again, my first time using Google Forms, I was told numerously that it was the easiest thing in the world and that I'd have no issues whatsoever. So I feel really silly that I have had some issues. I'm sure it's something small, and I'll double check everything and get another form up here very shortly. All right. I hope everybody's looking forward to this next roundtable. Again, it's going to have Ignite DeFi and Dive Wallet. Both of these projects are pre-launch when they're coming on. Dive is launching, I think, 3 or 4 days later. Ignite DeFi, I think, launches the same day, even, maybe? I think Ignite might actually launch that day on the Spark launchpad, which is their launchpad. So I think that'll be an interesting conversation in general to have with those individuals. Just because anytime you're going through a launch process like that, there's a lot going on, a lot's in the works. It's exciting and it's just nerve-wracking. So it'll be just, again, interesting and cool to have those two individuals. I know they're also interconnected to one another. Dive, for instance, will be launching on the Spark launchpad. It was going to be the inaugural launch, but since Ignite decided to launch from that launchpad, it is now going to be the second launch, which I actually think is a benefit for Dive. For no specific reason, but just good measure all the way around. If it was me, I kind of would have wanted to see how one other one went. Anyways, as well, Brew Labs, Maverick from Brew Labs will be on, and then Toten from BUSD Buffet. And I can't say enough personally how much I like Toten. He's just a fantastic guy. Again, somebody else who actually really loves the actual development side of things, not just DeFi, but like the nitty gritty part of it, the part that I like. The question of like, how do I do this, even though it hasn't been done before, but I know it can be done. I just have to find a way to create a script that nobody else has created yet. Create that function from scratch and be the first to implement that function. He's one of the very few people that I know in this space that's not scared to continuously push that boundary. And me and him have some of the longest talks about not just what you can do, but what we will do and how we will accomplish these things. So it's great having him back on. We're not necessarily going to get down to the nitty gritty in front of the general public just because not everybody can follow technically, and we don't want that space to be like that. But just a great mind to have there on the ready in case any great questions do come up or we want to hear a good technical reply. Anyways, again, Crypto Atlas and Adam Bergman will be the co-host on that event. And then as soon as that event's over, I will get you the names of all of the next participants. That's going to be a very exciting one. And again, that'll actually just be 1 week later because I do have a scheduling conflict the following week. So we'll take that week off and then we'll go back to our normal bi-weekly schedule from there. Alrighty, guys. If there's any questions, I'm here and would be more than happy to take them. If not, I'm probably going to hop off.
Just a heads up, Ignite's March 2.
So yeah, that's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll be Karuna will be on the round table the same night they launch. I wonder if he is even like noticeably aware of that yet. But technically, he won't have anything to do like with the actual launch process other than probably talking to people. Oh well, we'll see.
He's in so many projects. I wonder how he knows what he's doing in the first place. It's amazing.
I know what you mean. It's wild. There's few people in this space that I look at and I'm like, they're definitely in more places than I am, and he's one of them. You are too, though. I just had that conversation with Tamchi. I just had that conversation with Tamchi like literally an hour ago. You were my like real point of reference, not Generation Crypto, not anybody like that. It was, hey, WRX, man, and he's like, oh yeah. You know, like, so yeah.
Yeah, I've if you look at my Twitter and you see who follows me now, and this is hopefully going to work for our PFPs and forward. There's about over 100 artists, I think, following me now. I'm exaggerating, but they're either influencers, artists, or devs on the Phantom chain. So it's so tight knit and small that supporters like me get recognition from just being helping the projects grow. So it's so big. But yeah, I try.
So, like, as far
Anyway,
as our NFTs go, of course, I want them to be successful. That way, our project has additional capital for additional events that we want to pursue and do. That being said, I really want them to be successful for Cody, the artist. I personally believe he is a fantastic artist. I like what he produces. I think he does a great job, and he's new at it. So altogether,
I agree. I mean, compared to what I've been buying, it's up there. It's up there in that quality. It's definitely something worthy of any of this, and it can eventually be cross chain. It doesn't have to stick to one chain.
oh, it'll without a doubt
So
be cross chain. I was talking about it last night, and I think realistically, my goal for a cross chain drop will be line 3 or 4, maybe 4, just because you'll know soon. After a couple days after our launch, I'll release some juicy details to the general public, and everybody will have a much better understanding of what's going on with the NBC NFT family, and everybody will get very excited. I just do not want to take that attention away from what got going on right now. But yes, cross chain NFTs will be coming, as well as cross chain ability for tokens and so on and so forth. But the real presence of the cross chain, like coming up quickly, will definitely be due to NFTs. And we will have
uh,
assistance there. Anyways, all right. So if that's it, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here. I really do appreciate everybody taking a little bit of time to chat with me this evening. I love giving updates when I can, and I will get a new form out again here just a few hours, if not early in the morning tomorrow. Alrighty, guys. Thank you all very much. Have a good night.